My first year on Etsy, I made a bit over $25,000. And no, it wasn't overnight. And no, I didn't know what I was doing at the very beginning when I first started. So today I want to talk to you about how I started, walk you through all the process of how I was able to make that amount that I made my first year on Etsy, what worked, what didn't, and what I would do differently if I'd start again completely from zero today. I didn't start Etsy because I had like a long-term plan or a long-term strategy. I started because I wanted something simple. For me, at this point, my maternity pay leave was ending and I couldn't do the job that I was doing at the moment with the same pace that I was doing before, just because I had now then 2 under 2 kids. It was still a little bit iffy with all of the pandemic, and I was a personal trainer and an online coach for 7 years. And I just wanted to have something different, something more creative, but most of all, something more free, something that allows me to be wherever I am and still do something and provide something extra, but it doesn't hit a wall when it comes to putting in the hours. And I wanted to start super simple, without the social media pressure, without all the other noise. I just wanted to create something. And at that point, after Googling all the options, Etsy seemed like the least overwhelming option for me. And honestly, for me, that mattered so much more than just picking the most perfect side hustle or the most paying side hustle. So I started selling digital products and I started from social media templates just because I had prior experience myself on social media. So it seemed kind of like the obvious choice to start from something where I have already some sort of a knowledge or expertise. And every one of us in our lives, we have something that we have some expertise and knowledge on that we could turn into digital products as well. And this is something that you can do as well. If you use Excel in your work, for example, you can create spreadsheet templates like budget templates, habit trackers, life templates, life planners, trackers. If you're a teacher, you can create educational printables, coloring pages, even educational wall art. Or maybe if you're a beauty technician and you have a skill for beauty or you know something about the beauty industry, why not make beauty technicians' lives easier with providing different booking sheets, for example, booking sheets, templates that they can use in their business and they can focus on their work. So I officially started selling on Etsy on this shop in January 2023. But I did actually open up my shop like a week or a week and a half earlier, before Christmas. I remember that pretty well. It was like the 23rd of December. I was like, okay, the new year is almost here, but I want to open my shop before the new year hits, just to like put that check after that goal. I put my first product up. It was a social media template, an Instagram template product. And then holidays came. I didn't think much of it. And then at the beginning of January, I got my first sale. And it wasn't much. It was about like $5 or $6 or something. But for me, it changed everything. It showed me that a complete stranger purchased my product and was willing enough to trust me with purchasing a product and being a first customer. And in my first month, I made around $200, if I remember correctly. I will put it on the screen. And from there on, things started building up slowly, but just wait for a second. I did hit a point where I wanted to quit. And I truly enjoyed what I was doing. It was not that it was, I don't know, easy. It was still hard for me. It was something completely new for me, but I enjoyed because I didn't put any monetary pressure on myself. I just wanted to enjoy the process of creating and designing, and I really truly love that. And I truly strongly believe that it is with everything in life, and especially with picking a side hustle to start making money for yourself. You gotta choose something that you feel is the most doable for you. That is something I talked about in my previous video as well. You gotta pick something that you enjoy doing, and when you do it over and over and over again, you get better at it. And when you enjoy what you're doing, the money will start to follow because you're not doing it out of a pressure point. But I had 2 kids at home and a lot of work happened in the very late hours of the day. And actually by month 3, I thought like, okay, I'm done. I want to quit. I'm done, because I saw like steady growth, but I'm pretty impatient. I'm a pretty impatient person, and I was like, okay, I'm done. I want to see faster growth. Although I didn't start with that intention of wanting to make it into something big, but at month 3, I was like, okay, but actually strangers are buying. I can make this something bigger. But I had a period where almost like the whole 3rd month, I didn't touch my shop that much. And I think that part really matters, because you know, success is not a straight line, and we need those lessons to see that, okay, what is the problem here? Why am I feeling this way? Why am I not scaling? Why am I not growing? And it was simply because I didn't put in as much work as was actually needed. So what actually started to move the needle for me on Etsy to make 25K by the end of my 1st year? Of course, making things better, like your Etsy listings in general, your designs, your keywords, your SEO, and optimizing your listings in the shop more and more. But I also realized that I had to stand out in the sea of Etsy sellers. Etsy is a massive platform. So I had a serious hustle period where I focused both on quantity and on quality. I know that there's a lot of Etsy sellers that say, oh, you don't need quantity, you don't need hundreds of listings. That might be true for some certain digital products and some sort of products in a very niche down category where you can stand out, where there's not that much competition. So that means that if there's a high search volume for something and a lower competition, it means there's more demand than there is supply. So a lot of people are looking for something and very few are actually giving out the product that people need. But if you're not, I started with a niche that was already, I don't want to say saturated, because I feel that in every single niche and category on Etsy with digital products, you can stand out because nobody is like you. You can create your own unique design voice, give your own little something extra to it with how you bundle up products, how you create those products. But I do believe that a big it for me was upping my just like quality but quantity as well to stand out. So when somebody is looking for a specific for example, a specific template, a specific product, when they type in that product, then when they see, for example, on the first page, a bunch of products, and when there's already like 5 or 6 different products, listings coming from me, and only one from my competitor, guess whose product is most likely gonna be picked? And also because I wasn't creating super complex products at that point. As I said, when you're super niche down, or you do take the time to, for example, like January is coming, digital planners are on the rise. And if you do not have the patience to create a 500-page interactive digital planner, it takes more time. So it takes more time, and you're gonna have a super high quality product, but you cannot put those out as much. You're not gonna put out 10 planners a day. But maybe with more simple digital products, like some type of invitations, logo templates, some printables, you can put out multiple listings a day. And at that hustle period, I brought up my shop about 100 listings. So I created 100 listings a month. I do not say that it is not realistic for everyone, but I did take that time. I truly was determined to make that work for me. And I didn't just create everything from scratch. So I was doubling down on what was working. I was seeing from my analytics what was bringing some type of views, engagement, like favorites, what people bought, and I doubled down to create more similar products. So how it all added up to 25K. So the growth was actually pretty consistently going up and up, but only because I was consistent, especially that very first year on Etsy. I kept uploading new products, doing market keyword research, seeing what is, what is trending, what is popular now, what are the bestseller products, what are people searching for, what has rather a high search volume and rather a lower competition, and also not just creating completely new products, but also doubling down on what was already working. So creating new and doubling down on what was working in my shop. I tested different product types. I tested different product images, especially those first cover images. An image that would grab your attention might not grab my attention, and vice versa. I was getting better with my keywords, with my titles, with my descriptions, with my tags. And also I started bundling up products and creating complementary products that were going well, so that if people come to my shop, they would see that, okay, I could actually get this bundle for a better deal, and I would get that product and something else that I might need. Or when they would come to my shop, they would see, okay, she has that product, but I could also get that product as well because she's already providing, and they go pretty well hand in hand with the design style and the product type itself. So the growth wasn't one viral month or a viral bestseller product. It was all of those little steps together. Getting better, getting those first sales, getting those first reviews to see that people are actually coming and purchasing. Then those views and sales ignite further future sales and reviews. And at one point, it starts growing and going like a snowball. But also some mistakes that I made in my first year. I overcomplicated digital products that didn't need to be overcomplicated. People are not looking for complicated products. They're looking for products that are simplifying their life, giving them more time and giving them the ability to have more time and put that time on things that they want to do. I waited too long to double down on what was working. I waited too long to see, okay, what already had some type of traction, to go into my analytics and to see that they all had a similar pattern to them, and I couldn't create a complementary products way earlier. I also waited too long to do proper keyword research. I know that everybody talks about it, but it is important because Etsy is a search engine, and keywords are the words that people type into the Etsy search bar. How are they searching? What combinations are they searching? Maybe one of you is searching it with one phrase and the other person is searching for it in another phrase. So for example, maybe somebody's searching for real estate Instagram templates, but the other person is searching for social media for realtors or realtor social media. There's a difference. And a big mistake was being too impatient. Etsy is definitely not a get-rich-quick scheme. I don't think anything out there is, if it's not a lottery win overnight, but Etsy definitely is a snowball effect type of thing. When you put in the work, the products that I uploaded my first year are still bringing me in sales daily as we speak as well. The listings, they will add up. The more listings you add, the more market keyword research you do, meaning you actually create products that people are looking for. The more you have the opportunity to have visibility from different people, having more traffic, then having Etsy push your shop out there more, having those potential sales, having those real sales, reviews, and again, when you keep on listing more products, doubling down on what is working and what people are searching for, I think you get the point. It just grows and grows on top of everything. So I would say my biggest mistake was underestimating how long success on Etsy might take. And I think already I was pretty successful. In my opinion, it was a pretty big number for my first truly serious online side hustle. But most people quit right before things actually start working. They quit, but they don't quit because it didn't work. They stopped finding solutions on how it would work. So I always love to say that you haven't failed until you haven't stopped. Sounds cliche, but it's so true. If you haven't quit, it means you're searching for new solutions, new strategies, new ways how to make that work. Because for me, a big driver was I saw other people succeed on Etsy. So why or how couldn't I? It was possible. And I was very close on giving up on month 3, but here I am. So Etsy definitely is not for everyone. But Etsy is amazing in my opinion, might be biased, but for you, if you want a low pressure thing to start. If you don't want to show your face, if you don't want to build an audience on social media, and if you don't want the hassle of building your own platforms, websites to start with, to market, it is a marketplace. It has so many monthly visitors already and so many potential customers already coming onto the platform with the intention to buy something. They're searching for something. And now you gotta be the one to provide them that something that they can buy. Etsy is definitely not for you if you want instant results. If you want to list a product today and you say, oh, I want to make, I don't know, 10K at the end of my first month, probably not going to happen. And it's definitely not for you if you don't want to learn the platform, if you don't want to learn SEO, if you don't want to create digital products in general, if you don't want to get better with those, create variations, double down, learn how to create beautiful product images and how to optimize your work to get better. And also Etsy is not for you if you quit when things are slow, because with every marketplace and every business there are slower seasons and then there are faster seasons, and it also depends a lot on the digital product you're selling as well. A good example, for example, are planners. Planners are on the rise in December, they're booming in January, half of February, or for example educational materials. Think about when kids go to school. So for me, Etsy wasn't just about the money. It gave me confidence that I could actually do this digital product thing, that I could create products and I could sell products. And now I've sold over 21,000 digital products just on Etsy. Etsy doesn't have to be your end goal. It can be your platform to go on from. The experience will teach you how to create, how to set things up, and how to get going, because the more you are in the space and in the digital product world, the more you will understand. And for me, it was a starting point as well, because once I had that knowledge and that confidence about it actually being possible, I started expanding on social media, creating my websites, and starting to create a brand that I'm now silently rebuilding on Instagram. If you're there, you know. But none of that wouldn't have happened for me if it wasn't for Etsy. So if you're watching this thinking, I could do this, but I'm pretty scared, I was too. I had no idea, but you cannot get better at anything before you start. Again, as a mom of two, I have a good example here. Just think about how many times babies fall down and get up, how much effort it takes for them to start walking, to start running. They're not thinking, oh, I fell down, must be too hard for me, I'm gonna quit. No, it doesn't even cross their minds. They're so stubborn and so determined to make that happen. So your designs improve more as you do. You understand Etsy more because you spend time on the platform, and you're gonna start noticing trends because you're actually paying attention. So nothing clicks at once, it clicks over time. So I hope you loved today's video of that little first year breakdown on Etsy and got some good pointers on what to do and what to maybe avoid if you are thinking about getting in the Etsy world. And if you are, you can comment down below and let me know if you are already selling on Etsy or thinking about selling on Etsy, and maybe what videos on Etsy you would love to see in the future. And if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so that we could see in the next video. Bye!